Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fifth episode of Meta Talks, the MetaGate Summit pre-event platform where we delve into the fascinating world of the Metaverse. I'm Lara Dawood, your host for today's exciting episode, and I'm happy to have Shujat Mirza, XR expert and MENA president of Vrara, joining me as our co-host. Welcome, Shujat.
Thank you, Lara. Always a pleasure to be here with you and adding my 2 cents. And I'm glad to have our esteemed guest, Mr. Abdul, with us today. I'm looking forward to his insights and happy more for audiences. They're going to hear some great insights from him today.
Absolutely. And speaking of our guest, we have a true visionary joining us today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Abdul Salam Knio, the Managing Partner for Information and Communication Technology, ICT in Qatar. With his extensive expertise in digital business transformation and his invaluable experience dealing with enterprise companies through different sectors, Mr. Knio brings a wealth of knowledge to our discussion. Welcome, Abdul Salam.
Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Shujat. I'm very happy to be part of this episode, and I hope I will be able to add value to the subject and to the audience. And I'm more than happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Abdul Salam. The pleasure is all ours. Today, we will be exploring the topic of embracing the metaverse for business success and discussing various aspects related to the adoption and implications of the metaverse. But before we dive into our engaging discussion, Abdul Salam, we'd love to hear more about your background. Could you please share some insights with our audience?
Of course, with pleasure. So, as you said, my name is Abdul Salam. I'm originally from Lebanon, but I've been working and living in Qatar for more than 30 years. And I've been always leading a technology company and in the technology field. Now, we started as a system integrator selling data center solutions. Then maybe 10 years ago, we started to invest in what's called today the digital business transformation. Started with the cloud technology, then we spread across the other technologies. And lately, in 2019, we decided to transform the company totally to become a customer-oriented company, talking with business people, line of business people and customers, and understanding their business challenges and coming up with not only technology solutions, but also business process and optimization, innovation services on top of the technology solutions. So I believe we are in a very, very exciting period of time. We are lucky to be in this period of time where technology is evolving very fast. Maybe businesses or incumbents would not like that speed to be, but the reality is that all those technologies that are emerging are to the benefit and to make our life and business better. So that's a quick about my background, and I leave it to you.
Thank you, Abdul Salam. Your expertise will definitely add great value to our conversation. Now, let's explore the fascinating world of the metaverse and its potential for businesses. Based on your extensive experience in digital transformation, do you believe that people and businesses are ready to embrace the metaverse as a viable business model? How do you envision businesses adapting to this new paradigm?
Great. So, yes, the quick answer to your question is yes. The metaverse is a viable business model for the digital economy. However, it lacks some governance and it has some limitations that are being addressed by governments today and technology players. Having said that, doesn't mean that we should not embrace metaverse. As we know in this industry, the companies or the people who invest early in technologies and try to explore the potential and the benefits of those technologies are the ones who will lead their own industry. So there are a lot of metaverse initiatives going on as we speak. They are very interesting, very promising in different industries. In healthcare, we have seen some. In media, we have seen some. In shopping and consumer
Education.
interaction, education, manufacturing, training. So there are a lot of use cases today that exist and based on metaverse. So as I said, if we are able to understand the metaverse and to scale our knowledge and our adoption according to the maturity of the business model and the community and the ability to interact in this mixed reality environment, I think we will be able to achieve results. And I guess from the latest evolution in artificial intelligence and generative AI, there will be a lot to add to metaverse in the future to make it even more compelling.
Shujat, any comment do you have on Abdul Salam's viewpoint? Shujat, you're muted.
No, I second his viewpoint to a large extent. He's right that embracing the new technology is a must. That's I think the first step. And second step will be understanding, as you said, and then applying it. So yes, the businesses have to embrace. At what level, which businesses will do first, that needs to be seen, right? That's where we are at that stage, right? The key point he mentioned is embrace. That's very important because we as humans, we are very we don't like change, right? Nobody likes change. It's the first inertia that we face as a human. The first challenge is to change. That's very important. And we have seen it across industries, across these ages. The first challenge is that are we ready to embrace it or not? If yes, and then we will see the growth. As he said, there are use cases already. In fact, I was in a conference with Mr. Abdul recently. It was a 5G conference. They're talking about already talking about 6G and 5.5G. The minister of I think he's minister of I forgot his exact title, but his job is to invite different talent, different countries into UAE, create a sense of brotherhood and positive ecosystem. In the same breath, he mentioned metaverse, then he mentioned AI, and then he mentioned big data and all that. But in the end, he mentioned human well-being. I think that's also very key to note that among all this, we should keep that in mind that we need to embrace. But with that, keep that in mind that we also need to kind of create the right parameters and guidelines.
Exactly. And considering the crucial role of regulations and policies in shaping the future of technological advancements, Abdul Salam, do you believe governments are prepared to develop policies and governance for transacting in the metaverse?
No, if you like. But look, this metaverse technology is relatively new. And as any technology, it is subject to a lot of governance and policies that regulate the proper and the serious use of it. Now, for experimentation, it doesn't need extensive governance, but for real life and trading, especially when money is involved and privacy, there are a lot to do by the governments, and we have seen some initiatives from the American government as well as the European Union and China. They are doing a lot of effort to come up with some new policies and regulations to transacting in the digital economy, and to especially protecting the privacy of information, content creation and content validation, as well as access and avoiding money laundering, avoiding misuse, terrorism, spreading wrong information, misleading information. So like any technology, it can be used for the good and could be used for the bad. So the regulations are there to make sure that we try to minimize the bad use or the bad impact of this technology and to use it as a mainstream business. I would not say today that the governments are in that position to use the metaverse as a mainstream trading business. Although we have seen some initiatives in selling real estate and NFTs or digital assets in the metaverse, but they are limited and they are a little bit controversial. So in order for this to become to be exploited on different levels in different industries, there is some work to be done in order to protect the use and to make it more helpful and achieving the results, the intended results. Just one small comment on Shujat, because I am part also of an incubation program by TASMO in Qatar, and I'm a mentor for the startups. And I've seen some enthusiasts, some startup ideas that are excited to come up with ideas on Metaverse as well. And I'm trying to help them to shape those ideas to become realistic. And I think even the concept comes in the initial phase as it will sound limited, but I think moving forward it is potential to become more and more rich and more beneficial.
No, definitely it will. It will. I was just thinking that, when Lara mentioned about the different governments trying to create policies to govern from a transactional point of view, if a metaverse allows trading and buying of digital collectibles, for example. But I think the world was, I would like Mr. Abdul's inputs here. This when metaverse concept came, everybody felt it's going to be decentralized. Nobody's going to govern. It's user control, user generated content. A creative mind is going to get freedom to do what he wants to do. But at the same time, as you said, then we are prone to risks. We're prone to cyberbullying. We're prone to data theft. We're prone to IP theft. How do you see, the governments will be able to create the kind of a balance where we don't make metaverse a strictly that strict ecosystem where the creativity is limited, but at the same time give it enough for a user or for a creative mind or for a influencer or for anybody to kind of contribute and be himself or herself. You think it's going to be a big challenge to create kind of that balance, right?
Look, it is a joint role between governments and the people themselves, and the society and the governments. It's not only the governments.
Yes.
The first thing that will help governing the use of metaverse is the awareness. So people need to be aware of, like any other technology, they need to be aware of what is a proper use, what is a healthy or fruitful use, and what is a bad use, and how to protect yourself from people who will abuse this technology and the business model of metaverse. So awareness, I think, is the best step towards moving this into a mainstream business, and then governance and regulations. So I think the governments will be able to balance that as we go. And it will experience, there will be some hiccups here and there, I'm sure, like in the cryptocurrencies, for example. There's initially we had a different perception. Today we have a more mature perception about what's the reality of it. So yes, there is an effort that needs to be done. But my advice to all the startups, the entrepreneurs, or the governments, or the people who are technology enthusiasts, don't be afraid and don't step back. Move forward, try it, experience it, try to think, try to be creative, because as I said earlier, if you are able to prove yourself and position yourself and as an early adopter for a reason, not for fun, for a reason, okay, then you will be standing out from competition and you will be creating a unique value for your business.
Perfect. I think yeah, that sums it up. There has to be awareness, and that right business intent and aim has to be there. Otherwise, we'll just keep kind of shooting in the dark.
Yes.
Great advices, Abdul Salam and Shujat. Now let's shift our focus to the technological aspects of the metaverse. With technology progressing at a swift pace, as you mentioned, Abdul Salam, we must evaluate its current capabilities and limitations in relation to the metaverse. With your expertise in different digital domains, how do you assess the state of technology in terms of delivering an engaging experience within the metaverse?
Great. So today, as you know, in order to interact with the metaverse, people would need a VR, mask, or there are some gloves that you can put in order to have sensations. I've seen something really forward-looking about smelling in the metaverse. So you would be able to go and see a flower somewhere, and you can smell it, and you can really know what is it. Now, it sounds weird, but it's in basic concept, it's not that weird, to be honest. It's applicable. I'll explain to you if you allow me.
How?
So you know that those flavors that are made, say, for example, strawberry flavor, okay, it was a chemical composition. It has nothing to do with strawberry, right? And it is a chemical composition that talks to your brain, where your brain has memorized a formula for that smell, and it tells your brain that this is strawberry when you smell it or you taste it. So if the technology is unable to come up with some kind of a helmet or kind of a headset that it will talk to your brain, which communicate using waves, you will be able to transmit that chemical formula. It will be analyzed by the sensor on the other end, and you will be able to feel it and smell it. And so we are moving towards more of a, enabling the five senses into a more immersive experience moving forward, maybe in few years. But today, technically speaking, if we are talking about the existing technologies for metaverse, are limited to either using devices as an augmented reality, like tablets and telephones, or using a VR mask. Now, or the gloves, as I said, it's full for you to feel the movement. We have seen those in gaming mainly. Initially, it started as in the gaming industry, people reacting with the game, acting, putting themselves, immersing themselves in the game. Today, we see it in even other activities, such as you want to try a sunglass, right? You can put your head, and it will make you see how it looks on you. You can change it. The same thing for shoes. Today, Nike is also having some initiative in that space. So the limitations, as you asked, the limitations about this technology today, we cannot call them limitations. They are choices. Let me say they are choices, but those choices will definitely have will evolve, and we will have more tools to allow us to interact more effectively and near natural way of immersive experience. For translation, for live translations, for conferences, I'm sure that your Metagate conference will have some metaverse action. Yes. So we've seen metaverse in conferences. We've seen it in training. For example, take an example about training for manufacturing, and if it's a heavy equipment and they want to train the people on how to maintain that equipment. In the traditional way, you have to get one piece of equipment and you put it next to the trainees, and they have to test. Today, you can have it in the metaverse, and they can have an interaction with that, and they can learn a lot of things. We've seen it also in digital twins. And this is, an outstanding experience if you are able to merge metaverse and digital twins. And there are some initiatives, some examples about that. And that will really enrich the metaverse framework. The only limitation that I would see today is the fact it's being decentralized. Right, so it uses the blockchain technology, which is a decentralized ledger. So which makes it difficult for governance because there's no one owner of that network. So, but I'm sure that governments and technologies will find a way or a shape that will enable control over the content and the way we interact for privacy and for other things. So there's no limit to the innovation and to the level where we can deploy technologies, wearables, interactions. It's only judged by how much people are in need for those. So need creates the tool, right? So the more need is there, I think we have a very good environment for creativity and for manufacturing and for innovation in order to come up with the required tools to take the metaverse to the second level.
Shuzat, thank you, Abdul Salam.
The Metaverse 0.02.
Yeah,
Right? We are at Metaverse 0.0. I mean, yes, I mean, we've seen it with when, for example, when we start talking about VR and AR, the idea, the concepts were kind of ahead than what could be applied in reality, because we didn't have the right hardware, the right computing power, the right telecom strength or right network strength that needed to be for it to be be a very seamless, smooth experience. We haven't reached that yet with VR. We have covered a lot of ground. I mean, the VR has become more and more refined, easy. The headsets have become more smaller, smarter, have their own mini computers within them. I mean, so it's reaching. That's the progression that we have to follow with Metaverse as well. As you said, I think we reach there. Yes, the necessary ecosystem needs to be in place as well. The networks that we need, the computing power, the cloud strength that we need for example, digital twins. That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example, and that will really create great value for enterprises. If I'm able to create digital twins and behave and act like an actual product or an item or a machine, and then employees who I need to be trained, who I need to make them aware, will get the right amount of training and the right training using this platform. I think that's what we are looking at. That's where visionary like Mr. Abdul will come very handy, for us to guide, help.
I totally agree with you. I think as anticipated by 2030, I think the 6G will be out as a broadband infrastructure. And I think this will be promising a lot on the edge computing part. And because in order to take the metaverse to a real mainstream environment and use it on a wide scale, you need computing power as well as reach and technology. Now, from a government perspective, not all governments are able to invest in the infrastructure required for metaverse. So some countries are not, I mean, they have different priorities and they are not up to the current, let me say, on the majority of the infrastructure maturity. So that could be a limitation to those countries to get into the metaverse world. But mentioning that, metaverse can help also to increase two important things: inclusion and sustainability. Inclusion, which means more people will be able to engage effectively and to trade and to learn and to interact in this world without being to relocate from place to place physically, and to have access to information. And for sustainability, as a result of doing things remotely, immersively, but remotely, you reduce travel, which is CO2 emission, you reduce lighting and power and energy and water. So there's a lot that it can help also metaverse, like any other technology. They can, if put in a proper innovative business model, I think that it could be a very compelling and usable technology very well.
Absolutely. And here, an important consideration is whether we are ready to trade fully real interactions for this virtual world. Abdul Salam, based on your understanding, what are your thoughts on the potential implications of embracing the metaverse? How do you see it impacting our social and cultural dynamics in the long run?
Yes. Look, unfortunately, the more technology adoption and the more we become stuck with technology, we are reducing the human interaction, the natural interaction between us socially. So if metaverse becomes an unavoidable way of communication in the future, that will definitely have an impact. It has a cost on our level of
Human interactions.
isolation. It will it will encourage isolation. So and it will encourage also perfection and the pretension, meaning people will create their avatars and they will create their personas or personalities, and they will interact with the world based on what they a wishful character instead of the real character of themselves, right? So that will be, yes, an abstract, let me say, abstraction layer between the reality and the future. But if you look at the overall benefit and where we are heading for a better world, I think we have no choice except to explore and try to make our people and the societies aware. Awareness is the key to minimize that impact, the social impact. On business impact, the impact of using this in the business, not on the social level, again, it will be easier for fraud and for impersonalization and phishing. Of course, technology, the reactive technology or the offensive technology, okay, will try to protect that, but it is subject, like any industry. There are ways. There are people who follow the rules and there are people who don't follow the rules, and they make use of the snags and the pitfalls of rules. And there will be always, the digital is not a perfect world. It could be very good and it could be very bad if not well planned and well protected.
Yeah, exactly. Shujat, what's your point of view?
I think key is this. I think these are the challenges that we're going to face. Rather than, you mentioned the challenges that we're going to face in terms of, do we have the right technology and the right power to unleash the true potential of metaverse? Is this what you mentioned, the some very key words, that the deception that we can create, right? We not being ourselves. Those are real challenges which we should start addressing right now through awareness, and by portraying the real meaning and value of metaverse, what it can do, so that people don't fall into that trap. Those are actual meaty issues that we should be tackling, and our conference will come very handy. It's all about that. In that summit, we're going to address these issues.
Yes.
It can it will. These are the platforms that we need to have more and more to create this awareness.
Definitely.
That's very.
And Abdul Salam, we are absolutely honored to have you as a speaker at our upcoming MetaGate Summit, which will be held physically in Istanbul in September 2023, but also virtually through our Metaverse event management platform to extend its reach globally. So from your perspective, actually, how important do you believe events like the MetaGate Summit are in fostering innovation within the Metaverse industry? And what are your expectations for this year's summit, as it promises to be a momentous gathering of industry leaders and visionaries?
Look, I think communication is always important and very, it's key to sharing thought. And I think the MetaGate will be a unique opportunity for everybody to talk to the like-minded people and to listen to each other and to share thoughts that will boost creativity and innovation. Not only that, governments, maybe officials, people attending this conference will also have more light on the challenges and the potential expectations from governments on what is the priorities on their agenda, and what is the pressure that is being put on them, and to take the right actions. I think a public event like this is phenomenal. And this year, I think, especially that we are in the, let me say, the momentum, a very nice momentum of AI is catching a lot of traction. I think this event will, I'm hoping that this will capture new thoughts and will come up with add value to the presenters, the exhibitors, and the audience, all equally, and the governments. So there's no other better way than knowledge and awareness. And this event is meant to spread awareness and increase the awareness. We cannot learn if we don't want to learn. So I urge everybody to attend this event, and thank you for having me as a speaker in the event. I will be more than happy to be part of that and to participate as a social responsibility and as a technology enthusiast, trying to share my knowledge and my experience, and for sure to interact with the peers and to get their feedbacks as well, and to see what they are doing. I'm really excited about that.
Thank you, Abdul Salam. Our pleasure having you. And also, I would like to mention that we have also a startup competition where we will be shedding the light on the startups, innovations, and the project. It will happen also through the 3 days of Metagate Summit. As we conclude our discussion, Abdul Salam and Shujat, is there anything else you would like to add or share with our audience? Any final thoughts or key takeaways you would like to leave them with?
From my side, if you allow me, Shujat, from my side, I think I encourage all the fresh graduates and the people in universities not to miss this momentum, and to try to be curious, to understand, to learn. And we don't want also to get away from their creativity and innovation. I think they will play a major role in the future. We've seen a lot of nice ideas, creative ideas by the startups that are really mainly driven by young generation. So I encourage them to keep doing that, and don't too much focus on the barriers ahead of you. There will be barriers, but look at the opportunities and how to create value and to stand out from competition. We are in a very competitive industry, competitive world. So everyone would have, and that's the beauty of digital economy. It will open the opportunity for everybody to put his creativity and innovation out to the world, and monitor the interaction and the performance. So I encourage everybody, especially the young people, the fresh graduates, to read more about Metaverse, to learn, to attend courses, and to make their innovative startups, to experience them in order to take this future, this present to the future.
And to join Metagate Summit, physically or virtually? No,
Of course.
Perfect,
In Istanbul.
perfect.
In this beautiful city in Istanbul. Yes.
In Istanbul, inshallah. Shujat?
No, I mean, and I couldn't have said it better than this. Embrace and educate yourselves, be part of it. And this is something which doesn't have borders, right? Human race has been kind of constrained and restrained because we put borders.
Yes.
And this is something which doesn't have borders. So it's free knowledge transfer, it's access to everything, and within especially the new generation who are out of college, it's a perfect opportunity for them to kind of be metaverse natives, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Abdul Salam and Shujat, for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights. We truly appreciate your input, and it was a very engaging discussion, Abdul Salam and Shujat. And to our wonderful audience, thank you for tuning in and being part of this engaging conversation. We hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Stay connected with us on social media at Metagate Summit and visit our website www.metagatesummit.com for the latest updates on the Metagate Summit. Until next episode, see you.